So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer.
I know some people have called in and they wonder if the silent prayer is working. And I just want to take a second and to tell them that it works. You just have to stick with it.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I started doing before I even forgave my parents. And I was so depressed and suicidal at some times that I just would have to stop in the middle of my job or whatever I was doing and go into the silent prayer. And it really does help. Like, I don't have those anymore.
Amazing. You haven't seen anything yet. Doubt every thought. Bring every thought into captivity. Just let them all pass. Don't judge them. You haven't seen anything. It gets better and better and better and easier, easier, easier. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married, and the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good, or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. You can't run from evil within yourself or outside of self. You got to deal with it. And you need good in order to deal with evil. And God is good. You need to return to the Father. And you'll see within you, He will fight the battle for you. And He will fight it without, because He will show you how to deal with it. And you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, He will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before Him. And so when they go after you, oh, well, you may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby. This is my show. Thanks for tuning in, folks, on this fine Wednesday. A pleasure to be back with you. We got a bit of a show to get into, and I see all of you. Okay, I'm looking at you guys. You guys are rolling in, and I do appreciate it. Like I said, I'm the American Anchor Baby. We got to get into some of this stuff, okay? They had the State of the Union. That was nice, okay? Look, we're going to get into it. I see all of you. Am I buffering here, folks? Let me know. Give me a 1 in the chat, YouTube, because I see you guys first. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. What's up, everybody there? What's up? Slave to Him. Look at that. New names. How you doing, Rob? Nice to have you here. And, of course, punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. We've welcomed the people here. You're showing decorum. Okay. There was some lack of it, maybe. Right? Clear distinction. 2 ways of living. Those that have decorum and not. Okay? Those that don't have decorum are pretty fine with just the most terrible thing. So, like, you saw some of that. You want to be the person with decorum. Click the like button. Don't be rude. You're here. We see you. Don't be rude. And what else? Look, if you got something on your mind, something you want to talk about, you got a question you want to ask, a topic you want to bring up, that's 888-775-3773. You got something you want to say? There's the number for you. Now, what else here? We got everybody here. Look, Rumble, how you doing? The number's there. You got everything. You're getting ready for the show. And what else can I even say? Can I even Tourette's in peace? Some are saying in the chat, look, stop with this, okay, with this pretending. Why are you pretending? You don't have Tourette's. Let's move. Look, you're here. We got everything going. We're not buffering. You're welcome to call. And what can I say about this? The State of the Union. I mean, when you really break it down, the only calls that I can get are, well, either you're deranged and you hate all the W's, okay, or you're just going to call me to tell me that he should do more. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the only thing you can say, that you know what, that's a whole bunch of W's, Mr. President, but we need more. It's like, or that kind of criticism, right? So you can't even say that. That's really how you break it down, don't you think? It's the State of the Union address, so it's going to be all the W's, but those are nice to hear. They're there. They're there. That's pretty nice to hear, right? He's doing things for the country. And when you break it down, you got to say, hey, what can the calls be, really? It's either you're like a total hater, or you're just going to call to say he should do better, right? I just want more of him. More. He should do better. He should, right? He's etc. But anyways, we'll definitely get into it here. Some choice moments. And something, I'll say this more later, too. I was just thinking about that, right? How you can only say you want more. But I'm seeing all of you. Okay, we got everybody. Let me pull this up. Because, I mean, look, he's just talking about the wins. Of course, the clear division of all the people just harumph sitting down. Like you didn't know, right? Like as if you didn't know, but it's something maybe you need to see it. That's really what you have. You have a bunch of people in the way of wanting to do good things. And the moment was they, to the question of will you stand if you agree that protecting the, you're supporting the American people, right? So that's your first priority over illegals, like sitting down, right? You saw all that, I'm sure you did. He's like, talking about a bunch of things, right? He was defending the tariffs. He had some creative things, just trying to remember off the top, right? There's some creative things about like energy and AI, and you've seen these reports with China just like exploding in like domestic energy production. They got factories, they got energy for the people. Trump's like, we'll let the AI companies who are making these big data centers, we'll have them build their own power structures, right? Supply power to the people, supply their own power. It won't be an issue. How to make business work with the people. Like, the man's a creative guy, and you can't be mad about the W's, right? Now, there's some who, right? They'll want to call me, and they're fine to do so, and I have a mix. I'm mixed on some of these things that you bring up on what you want to do better on. What can you say is like, I just don't think you just can't say that he doesn't care about America. Like, it's a lesson on. I'm not trying to finger wag on like loyalty here. Look, it's just for me. It's a matter of the individual, like what I see in the person. Not as did he say or do the right thing for me? Like, no, I know he cares about the right thing. I just want him to be better. If I share any of these criticisms, some are great, some are I don't get. That's why my show is open forum. You can call in. But I'll know he's got. I'll know he can. I'll know he's on this on my side. I'm not convinced about the most terrible characterization of a sort of a selling out of, so to speak. He's not on my side. And I just don't believe him. You're welcome to call me, tell me about it. I'm not convinced. And then there's like the rumblings, the rumblings of Mama in the wings. Yeah, but is he really delivering? It's not really affordable. Kind of what the Democrats are saying. Well, and if you fall for that, it's like, put it like this: it's like if you're not convinced he wants those things too, right? Then you're just like wanting to fail. You're just like, I'm looking for the first good argument for the Democrats. Give it to me. I'm ready to switch. Like, haven't you seen what they're really about? But what else about this? Look, it was interesting, but it was like a long thing there, right? So I can't even go through it off the top. Let me look at my packet here. Let me look at what I got here, because he doesn't like. There was there's a funny moment. Let's see if I can pull it up. Talk about the most basic road signs. He's like, these people can't even read English. They're driving. They're getting CDLs. They can't even read the most basic road signs. Come on. Thanks. Taking it easy here. Watch.
Basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location.
It's like the most basic things he's talking about. Someone was hurt by one of these people. I forget.
Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law.
Right on. And yeah, so no more CDLs and all that for that. Like, that's just hilarious, right? The way he's putting it. Like, these illegals, they can't even speak it. They can't even read the most, if not all, of these illegals. That made me chuckle, but it's like, how does that even happen? How do they get like a CD? How do they get documentation? You have an official that says it's fine. Their standards are so low, and more often than not, there's some sort of ethnic nepotism, right? There's some sort of like you get one like Hispanic, Indian or something. Then you get like three. Now it's like three of them in the official chair. And there's more and more just giving out CDL, stuff like that, right? It's like more often than not a case of ethnic, right? Like some sort of group preference, lowering of standards. You got people feeling bad. I mean, there's women in the government. But right, how does that even happen? That's why when he was like, look, 0 illegals, awesome, right? Absolutely awesome, right? Let me just pull that up. 0. That's pretty good. Hold on.
Of net
Hold on.
Zero
Nope, not that
confidence
one.
in
In the
Here we
past,
go.
by far, cure. After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country.
Right. Pretty sweet. Right, 0. 0 is pretty awesome. That's what you voted for and all that. I get a little thing about, but we'll always welcome these legal maybe I'm like a bit of like what's it called? Call it a radical in that or something. Right? Maybe I should get with the program. Like it's like get real. There's a bunch of people here we can have something that's economically beneficial if we have just maybe strict rules, a strong executive, like, like a Lee Kuan Yew type visionary realizing you're in a multiracial society. Well, let's just have strong rules, strong training. I mean, it's just what you got to do. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to get with the program, but like, man, it's like the Republican, is there a response to that? Is there a response to Virginia? Is there a response to these states that are, can we call it, how do you reverse that? Are you reversibly blue now? I mean, they were once red, purple, then blue. And what correlates with that? Larger and larger share of foreign-born population. I mean, what does it all matter then? I mean, will you ever win an election again? We'll get more to Virginia and all that in a second because it's Spanberger, actually. Abigail Spanberger gave the, like, Democrat response. Right. So, but to finish this out, I mean, look, he says a number of things. He defends his idea on tariffs, and he's bringing all these, like, all this, like, very creative new ideas of no income tax. Let's follow this through. You guys won't have to pay income tax. It's like, we're going to do it like how we used to. Can you, I don't know, get smart and call me and deny the economic numbers he's saying? I mean, I don't know. And then just little things, right? He's just little things. Like Wall Street was buying up thousands of single-family homes. Remember? It's like on the internet all day. It's like low birth rates, and BlackRock is buying apparently he did something about that too. So all you can, right? So either you're like Ilhan Omar, right? Like
Ashamed of yourself, not standing up.
Either you're like
You should be
Ilhan over
ashamed
here.
of yourself. That is
You gotta
why
see her
I'm
face.
also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities
And all of them, look at
that
her.
protect the criminals. and
Talib
enact
Rashid, look
serious
at yell.
penalties
What
to
is she even yelling?
To end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact.
Hasn't she? I forget. Isn't Ilhan Omar? Doesn't she go as far as calling him pedo or something like that? I wanted. I'm wondering if they do. I don't want to, right? Because some things they won't like say, something they'll imply. But I'm wondering if she has gone as far. Has Ilhan Omar? A PDF file. Has he ever called him that? Right over the Epstein stuff. You seen that guy? You seen that guy? I almost forgot about that. Black people are not apes. Yeah. You think you could have picked somebody better for your message here? You know, like, just take a look at Al Green here. And, I mean, you know, you think you could have picked, like, you know, for the, let's like, and I'm just speaking about this in like a PR kind of way. Like, okay, imagery, what hits, what goes through people's minds. Look, I've been in a sort of a media industry for some years. It's a professional opinion, really. And that's the only reason I'm saying it. You'd think you could have picked somebody like a better face for this message, you know. Hake says he looks part Neanderthal, and I heard that's how you pronounce that. And in that sense, then he looks like all of us, right? In that sense, well, Mr. Al Green, you're really all of us, the original man. But anyways, where were we though? Right, I was just saying either you're Ilhan, you got her face, look at her face. Let's do this really quick. Then we'll get to calls, we'll get to everything.
Penalties for public officials.
Apparently, Grok is saying no, Ilhan Omar has not directly called Trump a pedophile. She has repeatedly referred to the Republican Party as the pedophile protection party in post, though.
Who blocked the removal?
Look at her face. Look at that. Ooh. I know you've seen nasty faces, but look, on the woman, look, attune yourself.
Penalties for public officials.
Ooh, right there. Attune yourself to this, young man. But really, just anybody. Now that's a particularly nasty lady.
And enact serious penalties for
and I think she really is emotionally in it. Here's the funny thing about Ilhan Omar in this very moment. I think she's quite honest. For those who are Trump, the Republicans are truly a fascist state. They're coming in to end transgender. Some people think they're here to erase transgenders or something. But I think even them can't feel the honesty of the moment here with Ilhan Omar, because it's her who the benefit, I think, is a real face of the beneficiary of this corrupt class that would really truly be done with should Trump like really dominate like in a big way, because he's really just one guy. The GOP's mess. It's corrupt. I don't know what we're seeing besides. I don't know how we're seeing this moving forward. I don't know, folks. But okay, well, let's move on here. Just like one more time.
Penalties for
They're like
public
scowl.
officials
They're like little.
who blocked the removal of criminal
I hate
aliens.
you.
In many cases,
I hate you. You're ruining things for me. You're bringing a lot of tension to me. You're
blocking the removal of these people.
You know what I mean? That's like almost more honest than you're a racist. You hate Somalians. You hate Somalians. No, Ilhan Omar. He hates with the Christian righteous hate. The anti-American. But anyways, okay, we're messing around a bit. Super Glaze, obviously, he's a Trump. And I'm being a little funny too, kind of like maybe I don't know, rubbing people the wrong way, and so to speak. Because like, look, on the thing so far, I mean, you could say you want more. It's like, okay, but like, what about deportations? right, then you want more. You wish it would have been more of Trump, right? You know what I've always noticed when they talk about Obama, and I've always noticed this, Republicans are always like, I'm incredulous. So it's like, so how many times did you vote for Obama? Yeah, 2 times. Are you crazy? Are you? And I'm being a little extra here, but not everybody's emotionally responding, but for those that are, the emotional response I never quite understood, because it's like you're expecting them to think like you and rational. It's like, okay, obviously Obama was the divider in chief, and these are things I agree that I do agree with that, all that. The Democrats are like the problem here. They want communism and open borders. But it's like Obama, right? Obama gets elected twice. The people that vote for him twice are like, you didn't learn. It's like, what were they supposed to learn? To stop hating white people? Yeah, maybe then they would have been like, yeah, you know what? I see the error of my ways. But unless they repent, right? Unless they change, then Obama was perfect. You know, he was on their side, in his heart. In his heart, he was like, you know what? I'm for you, brown people, or whatever. And they knew that, and that's all that mattered to them. And it's like, you know what? And if they're ever going to criticize him with each other, it's like, we just wanted him to be more, to be more militant. F the Republicans, shut it down. Like, these are people are racist, right? Like, do reparations. I don't know. Because Obama was an interesting time. I see the videos, and it's like he comes in like right, real even. Like, you gotta have a strong border, but we gotta have progress, right? Yes, we can. So interesting, but essentially they know that he was on their side, so they would just want him to do more. So, right, you're welcome to call me what I'm getting wrong. Like, your only criticism obviously is either I have never agreed with him. He's represents a strengthening of Christianity, America, meritocracy. You would never call it that. Freedom. And you've always been against it. Or you're just like, hey, you know what? The things he said, they should be more, they should be better, etc. Can you say anything else? Anyways, moving on. 888-775-3773. This lady responded. Abigail Spanberger, the Democrat upset of Virginia, whom Earl Winsome Sears, black woman, firebrand Republican GOP frontrunner for that race, that lost to Abigail. They had their little response.
Good evening.
I'm not going to play it, but I'm trying to remember because it definitely was interesting. The woman who upset Virginia. It's like what's the word? Like, it's like an indicator of the prevailing forces, I guess. The left, the Democrats, it's definitely feminine. It's definitely radical. Yet, look at it's just a woman. It's just a blonde woman. I just want affordability. And also protesting children against the federal government. I'm just a cute little mom. What was that point? What was that moment? Let me see if I can Control F, find a transcript. She's just like, she's sort of even keeled at it, but when she's talking about the kids protesting how much she supports them, she's like, oh, it's like, whoa, chill. What is going on with this woman? She's having like a spiritual moment there. It was disgusting. And let me remember a key word. Protest. How about that? Let's try protest.
Bravery of Americans in Minnesota is unacceptable and demand more of their government. We see it in the determination of students organizing school walkouts all across the country, whose voices are becoming so powerful that the governor of Texas seeks to silence them.
The governor.
We see it in the
The powerful voice
bravery of Americans in Minnesota standing up for their communities, from peacefully protesting in sub-zero temperatures to carpooling children to school so that their immigrant parents are not ripped away from them in the parking lot. As a mother of 3 school-aged daughters, I am inspired by their bravery, but I am sickened that it is necessary. And Americans across the country are taking action.
Action. So a nutcase wants to throw children to law enforcement. I mean, I'm your governor. We're in dire times. We need your kids. I'm your governor, Virginia. And moms are so stupid. They're like, yes, it is a dire times. Go protect your, like, you know that's a made-up problem, right? Because if you think kids could, like, stand up to, this fascist government, apparently. Like, I don't understand where you're getting this from. Like, they're so crazy and stupid. Like, it's crazy and stupid. But her response was essentially, like, about affordability. She says it. They didn't say the truth. America, Trump, you just saw the union address. He didn't say the truth. So we have 3 questions. Is stuff more affordable? Is he working for you? And something else. But essentially that, like, is this government working for you? You could kind of see the effectiveness of that. And I don't know if I can, like, properly explain why. Essentially, it has to do with how I see the public perceiving that argument. I mean, I think they're hurting in some cases, or at least see it as that much. And it makes me, I'm just like, man, politics is so stupid. Because to think for a moment, you got to realize, wow, then this is what politics is now. Or let me think, what I'm saying here, this is what, like, political strategy is like. Now we got to pivot. Now that's like the next move of the Republicans. And now all of a sudden you're a Republican and you're thinking about strategy in the midterms. It's like, bah. Maybe I'm being cynical or something, but I get that people are basically what I'm railing against is the so-called free will of the voters. Like I'm pissed that you guys are voting for your own interests. You're like, what about my affordability and all that? But I'm just like, you guys can't see you're being fooled, but you can see how it's like somewhat of effective, but by liars. But anyways, who cares? Spamberger. What else? Pandering to the lowest common denominator. I think you know what I'm talking about. But what else? Okay, Spamberger. That was the whole thing. Okay, I think that was the whole darn thing. I want to get to these calls, but what was I saying here? I mean, what was I saying here? Is there a response here to, well, I forget what I was going to say. It was about Virginia immigration. I'm thinking again of Trump. He's like, well, if you're illegal, you can come here. And it's like, I know that they, like, just want things to, like, people here that will be economically good, but man, people are like, what's it called? Like, they're just, for every so-called good, I don't know, good anchor baby. There's like a total communist. He's like, you say anything and they're like, okay, boom, suddenly I'm brown again. Like, I'm different and like in a political problem. How do you, the people tend to underestimate the effects of foreign-born residents, says Lomez. This is an individual who's, I think I hear he's pretty smart about politics, but whatever. In 2020, the net partisan effect of legal plus illegal residents was roughly plus 14 seats for Democrats. Flooding the country with mass immigration is brazen electioneering on the part of Dems. You've heard me say this for a while now. Good news, there is a way to offset these effects. One simple way is to redistrict according to the criteria Blake Neff describes below. Draw the districts according to the count of actual citizens. Now, that would be some creative stuff, no? Because you essentially get to draw these district lines, and everybody knows the cities, the blue cities and all that, have a huge non-citizen population. You've heard this multiple times, okay? And now Virginia's blue. So, whatever. Look, let's keep it moving here. What else did I have about this? Virginia, look, that's it. You know what? There was kind of one thing sort of related. Okay. Trump, I don't know. Look, am I happy about Minnesota? I mean, I can't really even say I didn't expect that. But it was hard to really expect anything about that because it's such a new scenario. Have you ever in your lifetime, I mean, definitely not in mine, but I'm gathering this is really, really unique times. I mean, in your lifetime, has there been like ICE in the streets, deporting people, and then an actual, like, America having to actually go through that at very moment that people have been talking about forever? Like, what would it look like? Will you have protests? Will they protest deportations? Well, people have been talking about that for decades, about what it might happen and why you can't do it. That's been some of the Republican excuses why you can't do it. And it's very new, so it's hard to have even any expectation. But I can't even really say I didn't think that it would go somewhat like this, that people would be very unhappy, and then you'd have that problem. You know, and then you have the needle's moving and then kind of just sticks. And you got something else has to happen in a sense. You know, I guess you could say Trump could keep moving the needle, force it, so to speak, but I don't know if he's the guy who wants to do that. You know, I think the law should win. The law has to win. And that might mean some pretty terrible things. Or I don't know about pretty terrible, but just, you know, but you know, it's hard to know. It's hard to know what would happen, right? But you know, I can't say like I'm happy, but I can't say I'm unhappy because it's like this was partly expected. I mean, it's hard to say, folks. You know, I can't really call that a betrayal. I mean, you'd have to call me and say, well, Nick, this is what I wanted him to do more on, but whatever. You know, there was this guy, this Korean guy. He's getting convicted. I think this is really recent. Yoon Suk Yeol. Shout out to South Korea. He is being handed a life sentence. This is actually something I wanted to get to. It kind of fits here a bit. This is from a few days ago. Former South Korean president Yoon Suk Yeol handed life sentence for leading an insurrection. Sound familiar? Leading an insurrection. It's an insurrection against the country. Impeach him. Former South. What happened? Okay, you might remember this a little bit. There was a little, another moment of, call it, that the world, that maybe a lot of people in Korea had not seen in their lifetimes. A president declaring martial law. It's like, whoa, martial law? Like, you know, the executive in the military is basically superseding authority for various reasons, for emergency reasons. Now, this was back in 2024, a failed martial law declaration, because it was in December, and it was just like it was just mere moments. I think it was done in the middle of the night, and then that morning undone, maybe hours later, I forget. 2024, and with the calls, Yoon Suk-yeol, president of South Korea from May 2022 until his removal from office in 2025. He won the 2022 election narrowly as a conservative, promising tough anti-corruption measures, stronger stance against North Korea, economic reforms. His administration faced ongoing controversies, okay? The big December 3rd, 2024, Yoon suddenly declared emergency martial law in a late-night televised address around 10:30 p.m. He justified it by claiming anti-state forces, alleging opposition lawmakers sympathized with North Korea and were paralyzing the government, vowing to eliminate them, protect liberal democracy, and rebuild the country from ruin. This was the first martial law declaration since the 80s. What followed after, where troops were deployed to surround the National Assembly, their parliament, block entrances, and all that. Martial law restrictions banned political activities. The media was heavily controlled. Arresting opponents, they were thinking of it. Massive nationwide protests erupted. He was impeached the 14th. And, he's been arrested. Now these charges are coming down. This is just days ago. He's now been convicted for leading this insurrection, life imprisonment. Look, before I say too much about something, maybe I don't know everything about what's going on in Korea. Some things I do know about Korea is this crazy divide. Have you seen these? I'm sure you've seen this picture, maybe. This insane, what they say is the deepest in the world, political divide between men and women. And so you see this. The men here are they're like super conservative over here, I guess. I guess that's what that means. Women, they were just separating. Look at that. Look at that distance. What the? Right? You might know about the radical anti-man, anti-natal movements in Korea, feminist women who refused. I don't know. They're just so oppressed. Where was the oppression? They're so oppressed and lacking so many rights. They're like, we refuse to even date, marry, even make babies with men until things change, until morale improves. And I'm like begging women. I'm like, can you imagine what kind of like terrorist do you have to be? Where it's like one thing where it's just like, imagine you're like, like a Arab or I don't know, somewhere poor, a Palestinian or something. You're like, okay, but at least I look around and it's a mess. A lot of it's their fault, maybe. But look, they're looking around. It's like, we want food. Imagine how evil of a terrorist can you be when you're like a South Korean woman. You got everything. You got bending over backwards for you. They're like, maternal leave. Yeah, give us that too. Okay, fine. Give us, let us work and do anything. And then they say, and we demand more. We're in fact going to plummet. We're going to plunge this country into negative birth rates until something changes. It's like, how evil of a terrorist do you have to be? Anyways, Yoon, in my opinion, this is where I don't really know everything about Korea, but things I've heard, Korean friends, and my picture of this Korea that has a lot of parallels to America, the corruption in their government, the calls for immigration and all sorts of things, the calls for I've become somewhat familiar with this like pro-communist, pro-North Korea, like criticism of this far too pro-Western South Korea. And you think to yourself, many supporters even of Trump were like, who are some maybe more black-pilled, right? And I don't like not believe in government. That's not me personally, but you think to yourself, all these people voting, the demographic change, like you need like martial law. You need to do something, right? Many want Trump to do it. I don't know. Is Yoon kind of an example of someone who went that direction and crossed the Rubicon, so to speak, maybe too soon, maybe wasn't ready for it. They reversed it, and it's not like they were going to let it slide. He's got life in prison now. I don't know. Was this was this a possible path for America? I don't know. Whatever. Let's just things I was thinking of. Here's in my packet. Look, lines are open. This is why Trump is wrong. Like, I'm not really saying. I'm just saying those were W's. Can you deny it? At the speech, and that's it. And the guy loves America. 888-775-3773. What do we got here? Look, Jermaine, how you doing, sir? We got Canada on the air. Appreciate your call, Jermaine. Go ahead.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
All is well. Thanks, Jermaine.
Amazing. So, Nick, you were talking about our good friend there, Obama. Hussein Obama.
Obama.
Tell me how this guy went on, I forgot when was this, but he went on a podcast talking about how the right, they're angry, they're mean, they're divisive.
Yeah.
They want to be exclusive. They don't want to be inclusive. And, you know, we the left, we preach about togetherness. And I'm like, this guy's crazy.
Yeah, he used the word decorum. He's like, there's a total lack of decorum on the right.
I'm like, this guy is crazy, man. So I don't remember when.
Crazy,
you know, maybe I wasn't following politics then, but maybe you can clue me in when he ever did these such things that he's talking about.
Oh, you mean like being like not divisive? You saying like being like inclusive or something?
Yeah.
You know what? Look, but see, I too have not been following politics like that. You know, I've been closely following the news and stuff for like 10 plus years. But before that, you know, I like being informed of those eras of Obama, and especially people who like lived through it because it's a little bit different. And the stuff I've seen, the guy is like bringing Black Lives Matter to the White House. He's saying Trayvon Martin would have been my son. He's like, and that was back then when it was. I guess you could argue it maybe, but what's the argument now? The guy is not a president, and now him and Michelle and everyone around him are far more open about that stuff. You know, how racist America is and the original sin. So, you know, that's just how it is. So it's proven that's how they always thought, but you know, now we're here. So that argument is not being made, I don't think.
What a mess, huh?
Totally.
But I heard him say this, Nick, and I'm like, you know, maybe we should, you know, be fair. Maybe you did, maybe you're not, maybe you did not. And I'm like I said, I wasn't following politics for that long, but I've seen video of him talking about open borders. That, you know, he's not just going to let people in; they have to follow the law and there are procedures for this, right? But yet still they have open borders. So he's just talking out two sides of his mouth. That's what I'm getting from this guy, right? And on the other hand, he's speaking about togetherness and they love people and all that. I don't see how he loves transgender people or the blacks or any of what he's talking about. Because on the other side, we have his wife on a podcast talking about she makes it a point to just go to, if she knows any black people business, she makes it a point to go there. And I'm like, someone is lying. Someone is lying.
Somebody lying.
Somebody
you bring
lying,
up an
man.
interesting thing because I think what you bring up is what's interesting about it is, and there may be a better word for it, but like true ideology, what someone truly thinks on the inside, and well, you get that a lot in politics, and I'm sure the characterization is known by many. I mean, the lying politician saying one thing meaning another, but maybe with some experience and stuff, you start being able to see, maybe with some experience, especially some familiarity with old arguments and old lies, you start seeing the difference between what people say and what they mean. And here's what I'm getting at. Obama, look, like you and I, maybe we didn't really have that much experience, but it's clear to me that his supporters knew who he was. And it's glaringly clear, like when you have maybe a discussion over actual deportation numbers. Now, I think I don't know what it is now, but I think some reports that are on the low end for Trump and actual deportations, because it's not just the White House that comes out with numbers. That there's different people checking this stuff, and so some have a much lower number on actual deportations, and they'll say it's lower than Obama's. Okay, now if so, maybe that's a fair criticism, but it does bring up this glaring thing that I'm trying to describe, which is if so, then why wasn't there so much response for Obama? Why isn't there protests in the streets? Because his voters knew who he was. It's that simple. He's the guy who's even if he says all day, we're about law and order and all that. They knew how he felt about white people or racism, and you know what I mean, how he really felt about those things, and so they would never have seen him as like an enemy of immigration and open borders, etc. And meanwhile, the people responding from the public to the political class that's so strongly responding to Trump's, again, and this to the critics, to Trump's dismally low true deportation numbers, is because they know what he's really about, or at least that he means to directionally, right, take on that issue in a way that's truly against their open border agenda.
So you're saying, if I'm understanding you clearly, or you're saying Trump is just straightforward. He's going to say what's on his mind, and whatever he says, he's going to do. But Obama, he's going to sneakily play the game, right? He's going to tell you one thing, but on the other hand, he's going to do something different. So that's...
And his voters know what he's really about. And they knew that, and that's why they weren't going to protest him. And Trump's detractors know what he's really about. Even if you could criticize it's not good enough, they know he's really that, he's opening the door for someone to do it even more. Like, right? Trump times 10, so yeah, that.
So, I mean, we can clearly from his speech yesterday, you're saying he's getting pushback from every side. And we clearly saw it yesterday. Obama didn't get this pushback. Like you said, they know what he was really about.
Bingo.
And yesterday, I didn't watch the full, union speech or whatever, but I saw some part of it. And he was saying, listen, if you're for American citizens and not for illegal, stand up.
That was the moment.
And I was like, I did not expect that. Trump, man, what amazing. And it's funny, he plays the right way, and he knows there's another way, but he goes the right way first, right? Which I'm not saying the other way is not the right way, but he's saying they shut down his bill for tariffs, right? Mm-hmm. And he's saying, listen, there's another way. I just wanted you, the public, to see who your true enemies are. Right?
Yeah, that was great.
And he's showing you, but a lot of people will not be able to see it because they're still controlled by their emotions. So, man, shout out to Ilhan Omar. Don't be crying on television, man. She's a nasty woman. She's nasty.
You see that face?
It's crazy. Oh, man, she's nasty, man.
The scowl. That's the face she does when dad, I don't know, makes a funny joke. That's the scowl she has in the wings. Like, this freaking guy's having fun. All right, Jermaine, I appreciate your call. Call me again.
Of course, Nick. Have a good show, man.
Take care, man. Amazing. But yeah, will they protect? That was the moment. Yeah, that was long-winded, Frank Rizzo, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I saw a video where apparently Koreans are obsessed with the Talmud. They have all sorts of popular books based on the Talmud's teachings. What are you talking about, Kevin? You know something I did notice what was funny about Asian media, and I'm just going to say that broadly because I've seen it in the Korean stuff and the Chinese stuff and the Japanese stuff. I'm trying to think of an example. Let me think. Oh, let me think. What game is that? It's in their various. It's all over their media. Well, maybe not all over, but they'll have when they have magicians, mystics, and otherwise in like Korea. I'm thinking of there's one Korean game. What is it? Magic symbol. Their symbols are always like a Star of David. Hold on, where is it? Or that kind of symbol. I'm trying to give you a good example. Symbol. These there's some very creative in the arts of the Asian world. They make sometimes grand, references to Europe and then like knights. I don't know. That's why some of these animes are like in that setting, and they're blonde and blue-eyed. They're referencing Europe. But where was I? I'm trying to give you an example. Whenever there's like I'm trying to think. This is one Korean game, and the symbol for magic and like mysticism is literally just like a Jewish. What's that thing? The Star of David. Magic skill. It doesn't matter. Let's move on. Okay. I'm culturally enriched, okay? I like imparting these things. Okay, there's probably better examples. But yeah, see, there's an expert mage. An expert mage. Oh, man. There's the symbol. This is so bad. Why is it so hard to get in my desktop? Is it really impossible? It's not that important. There it is. I told you. Okay. Where were we? Where were we? Isn't Nick Korean? What? They legit have a Yu-Gi-Oh card with what you're talking about. I know, bro. I know, bro. I know what you're talking about, bro. They literally, bro. Talking about the Orichalcos? Yeah, bro. Okay? The Asian, look, arts, we do it over here, they do it over there. They culturally enrich, they put it in their art, and we all have a grand old time. All right, let's see. What are y'all talking about here? Let's keep it moving. 888-775. I was going to get into cartels. That's what I was going to get into. And I was going to show you these white European, or maybe you're mixed, or I don't know, Canadians. They're saying Canadians. They're saying Canadians. I don't know how they know. Looters. Could you imagine this? I guess looters come in all colors. No. Looters, folks. Now, the story's a little different, okay? But daylight looting in Puerto Vallarta. Group of Canadians clears out a store on camera. No masks. Zero fear. One even jokes, look, in America, while leaving with the goods. Entitlements on full display. Mexico won't ignore this. What's wrong with the entitlement of immigrants, right? Immigrant entitlement. What's up with that, right? Jeez.
And still things like this for these people. No. Stop.
Look, that's an OXXO. Did I go to an OXXO? I forget if I went to one.
And still things like this for these people.
Things like this.
No.
That's Aguero, my neighbor. You know what I'm saying? That's a gringo. No, okay.
No. Stop.
That's pathetic. Yeah.
The Mexicans are not having it.
It's embarrassing, guys.
Embarrassing.
I live here. I've lived here 3 years.
Keep saying that's what happens to you.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna rob a place.
That's so embarrassing. And that one too.
Yeah.
But finally, he decided to come. Están robando las cosas estos gringos, güey.
Se están robando. These gringos are just stealing things, way, which is to say, small, which is to say, ox, but also, bro. But anyways, like the animal.
Están robando las cosas estos gringos, güey.
And he's pretty mad. He doesn't sound like he's got some spice. He's got some like vinegar in the way he said that too. Estos gringos, güey.
No. Están robando las cosas. Lo estoy exhibiendo.
I'm displaying them on video for what they're doing.
Gracias.
We try to pay, nobody to pay.
I don't know what he said.
Gracias.
I don't know what the gringo said.
Pay, nobody to pay.
Well, these guys, they put the things back.
Oh, okay. So I think these guys put their stuff back. They were initially looting. Now I was just wondering, it's hard to find out why this is happening, right? But it might have something to do with the state of their union. Girls' trip to Mexico ends in disaster amid surging cartel violence, with old friends now forced to scratch around for food. On a birthday trip to Mexico, they're trapped in their hotel and struggling to find their next meal. Okay? They were meant to fly home to Arkansas on Monday, but are now stuck in Puerto Vallarta. Due to travel restrictions, the duo, who are on their third trip to the tourist hotspot, said they have been urged to shelter in place at the Hotel Hamaca Resort as long as the city's in a state of unrest. Signs have been posted around the resort saying it's strictly prohibited to leave until further notice. That's crazy, bro. The restriction has made it hard to access food because the hotel does not have an on-site restaurant. We did have some really nice friends that shared their food with us yesterday. The pair eventually managed to find a local cafe and beachfront restaurant that were willing to serve them. Much of the country has been in lockdown after the army has killed Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes, the leader of this cartel. Okay. And so I don't know if it's a win. They're saying it's a win, right? But they're all tough. But the Miss Claudia Chainbaum is like, we're not going to fight the cartels because that would be outside of the law. That would be outside of the law. So what do you do? How does a government, how did you as a citizen, what chance do you have to be protected against people outside that are operating outside of the law? I mean, it's a cartel. If you can't, in the law, deal with them. It defies all logic. Sounds like you don't want to do it. What's the real reason, Miss Chainbaum, president of Mexico? Sorry. I'm looking at the chat like, what's this zesty little Mexican bitching about? I'm like, hey! Oh, wait. You mean the guy in the video? Oh, hey! What the... Look. Lock in Mexico. So Trump's telling them, you got to toughen up. Make it happen. And, I don't know, explain these articles to me. New York Times, Mexico's caught between Trump and the cartels. Trump demanded Claudia Chainbaum confront the cartels. She won't. She's saying she won't. Over the weekend, his run came to an abrupt end, right, this leader. The killing was a success. Trump has been loudly, repeatedly demanding officials dismantle the cartels that have amassed fortunes. Yeah, come in with overwhelming force. Like, those threats appear to have an effect. On Sunday, weeks after Trump ordered a military intervention in Venezuela and warned that Mexico was next, that was funny. his speech. He was talking about energy production. He's like, we're producing way more oil than ever. We're drilling, we're making oil. It's amazing. And we got a little boon of oil from our new friends down in Venezuela. There's like a kidnapping of their president. That's freaking awesome. And Miss Chainbaum, I don't know if she's doing enough. She said, she made it clear. She's like, we cannot fight the cartels. She seems to, out of pressure from the United States, I wonder if Mexicans are thanking Trump. Out of pressure from America, from Trump, that's why some of these aggressive offenses have happened with the cartels. But now this picture starts forming. Now you start really painting a more accurate picture of what's happening. You can't have. I can see how many may even be mad at Trump, saying, "Well, look at what you caused. You pressured Mexico, and now we got violence in the streets. There's people." Now, of course, that'd be such a shallow characterization. You'd have to almost want chaos, and you don't have to want to blame Trump. It's like, you got the cartel problem. But you see what starts happening here. You can't take on the cartel a little bit. You can't, right, do an aggressive offensive and say, okay, now we're cool. Now we did it. This is until the next one, right? Put her there, handshake. Let's schedule the next conflict. But we're now in a truce. Like, no. So you start gathering a picture as to the inaction. It's far too big of a problem. I wouldn't blame Trump for. I mean, look, you guys got the cartel problem. Do you guys not want that to change? But I don't know. I don't know if the Mexican people care about that. I don't know if it's in their thinking. Over the years, just talking to illegal, not just, I talk to a lot of people, but look, just Hispanics. And about just how they, just like general life. And for example, danger. It's not even in this conception of it's wrong and it has to change, or that's not even in in the conversation. Or am I tripping? It's just how it is. But anyways, what was I saying here? Look, they got a problem there with the cartels. We got to take a softer approach to the cartel, some say. What are you saying here? Rick out of Hampton, Virginia, man. Appreciate your call. You're on the air.
Man, what's up, brother Nick? Brother Nick.
Oh, Rick. That's 3. You said my name 3 times, Rick.
Hey,
you got
I'm
energy,
just saying, man.
You're on a cloud. You're I see you floating. I see you floating.
Man, I'm floating, man. I'm about to float with you to see how you like to stay in the Union yesterday. Well, last night.
Solid stuff. It's W's. He's talking about him, and you
yeah,
love it.
I agree with him, man. Look, if you can't see what the Democrats are all about, man, and you still vote for them, you get your stupid pride from voting for them. They're trying to flip Chicago red. I'm really praying that they can flip Chicago red, man, because, these Democrats, there's a lady named Danielle. She got a group going out there in Chicago trying to just flip it red, man. I'm surprised they haven't threatened her life yet.
You're saying there's efforts to turn Chicago red? Tell me about these efforts and in what capacity?
Well, they have a couple of conservative women out there just trying to motivate Chicago to just turn Chicago red, because Chicago has been ran by Democrats for almost 40 years, man. To my knowledge, because originally I'm from Gary, Indiana, I can't even remember the last time. If you see a Republican, you'll see a unicorn in Chicago before you see a Republican mayor. And I don't even remember a Republican mayor ever being in Chicago.
I see what you're saying. I've heard a similar criticism of the Republicans, which is why don't you like go into the black areas, right? Is that what you're getting at? And like speak on it, my neighbor.
No, you know
and campaign or whatever. Is that what you're speaking on?
I wish they would go. I would like to see conservatives going to the black community, even if they know they're not going to win, but at least go in there and at least try and get some to vote. Maybe a few of them will wake up, you know. But I know a lot of conservatives, I think, hey, they're not going to listen to us. Why waste the money and energy? You see what I'm saying?
So Chicago Flips Red looks like is a I'm gathering it's the name of an organization or something. It's called Chicago Flips Red, and it's ran by this black woman, Danielle.
Yeah, Miss Danielle, beautiful lady. And I really hope they can pull it off, man, because if they can flip Chicago, Illinois will turn red. Just keep Chicago.
Is it run by her? Is it run by this Danielle?
I think she's.
Carter?
I think she runs it. Yeah,
okay.
I believe so.
Rick, my man.
And
if I may,
I'm hoping.
I need to get.
Go ahead,
as you speak, I'm going to get a couple images on the screen for the folks here because I got a question for you.
Yeah. Do your thing.
But you were saying Danielle, you're hoping Danielle Carter. You're really hopeful of this Danielle Carter's push to turn Chicago red. How? You're saying hopeful. How effective do you think it'll be?
You know, Chicago, they've been blue so long, man. It's almost like I have given up on the black community. Really, I have, because a lot of most blacks, they vote uninformed. I can give you a quick example. Here in Hampton, Virginia, during the governor's race, I was going to vote for Wisdom Sears. And then you had all these black Democrats passing out all her campaign messages. Hey, vote for Sandberger. So I did. I took it. I went in and voted for Wisdom Sears. And I come out there, Nick, and ask them, just to ask some people they know. I say, what do this lady stand for? You know, what are the economic policies? What is she on crime and border security? Do you know they told me that, Brother Nick?
What?
Go to the website.
Oh, I remember you telling me that. Yeah, what kind of website?
Yeah, they told me to go to the website, man. I said, wait a minute. If you're passing out and campaigning for her, you should know the her main stuff she's supporting. So why should I need to go to I don't have time to go to a website. You see what I'm saying? And they outside don't even know what the woman stands for.
And then she lost.
Hey, well, no, Spanberger won. She was going to get
Winsome Sears
lost. Winsome Sears lost. Yeah, she lost pretty bad, man. Rick, I don't think she
my man, Rick. My brother Rick. I'm on the screen right now. We have Danielle Carter of the Chicago Flips Red. We have Earl Winsome Sears. You know, I'm looking at these firebrand Republican conservative ladies, so-called, right? You know, and I got to say, Rick, is there a similarity here that's got you, you know, are we seeing a similarity between them, Mr. Rick, between these ladies that's got you supportive, that's got you, what's the word? You know, that's got you energized for politics here, right? I'm like,
I like her.
Go ahead. What do they share?
Well, I think, you know, she's probably bunched up with just some conservative people, you know, that are tired of the same Democrats. Now, to be honest, Nick, the best mayors I remember Chicago had was Harold Washington. After he ran, he died. But he was a good mayor, even though he was a Democrat. He was a good mayor. So was Richard Daley. He was a good mayor. Then after that, it went to Juan Emanuel. He was a decent mayor because he was hard on crime. And then after Emanuel got in the long-legged Mac Daddy Obama's administration, he left Chicago, and then that's when Lightfoot took over. And it went hell to a handbasket ever since, man. Then after that, Brandon Johnson took over, which is he was worse than Lightfoot, man. Lightfoot was putting was trying to put pastors in jail during COVID.
So true. I was just hoping yeah, you saying?
No, and you know, you have a lot of these or like I said, I was talking about the Iron Triangle. You have these black liberal pastors. They go campaign for the Democratic Party, and don't realize that Obama was very hostile to the church, man. If I go to anybody's church, they got a picture of President Obama, I'll walk out that church. Because he was very hostile to the church, man. He was hostile. But yet you got black pastors that just run around. You got liberal black pastors, liberal black politicians, and your black liberal civil rights workers. The Iron Triangle that helps keep blacks aggravated and keep them and make them run the Victim Olympics.
Thanks for that, Rick. I hear you, man. You know, I was just making little jokes, too, because I was just hoping you weren't getting hypnotized by these beautiful black queens, which I'm sure their heart is in the right place, but maybe their aptitudes would be better used elsewhere. It's maybe the cause of the losses partly of the Republicans. So I was hoping these beautiful, there are a whole lot of women, Rick, and I was just hoping you weren't hypnotized by these beautiful black queens.
I know, right? I try not to look too long, man. 'Cause I'm a married man, man. So I try to look at the message.
leave those firebrand Republican ladies alone, Rick. They gotta go somewhere else. I'm sure their heart's in the right place.
Hey, you know what, Nick? I just try to see what movement they got going on, and I'm really praying and hope that they can flip Chicago, because if they can flip Chicago, Illinois turns red, because the rest of Illinois is red, all except Chicago.
I guess you're
See
right.
what I'm getting at?
I just don't see how that's going to happen. With what is he isn't that Chicago a sanctuary city?
Yes, it is. I believe so. There, brother Nick. It
looks like Danielle is saying stuff about sanctuary cities, but still, it's the. That's not going to change things.
And then Illinois always have Democratic governors, and I don't know why, man. It's funny, man. I'm not trying to joke or nothing there, brother Nick. It seems like most liberals tend to be overweight, have all these body piercings and this loud color, different colors of hair. And I'm not judging them. But that's what I see. You see what I'm saying, brother Nick?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
What
you were doing is noticing patterns.
Right. I just notice how they behave. Most of them are overweight. Most of them are angry. They have the strangest color. If a lady's hair is black, she gonna sit there and turn it green. You know, all the body piercings on their face, man. You know, you can always, in most cases, know who they are as soon as you start talking to them or look at them. Because a decent woman is not gonna have 1,000 tattoos, a subcom ring, 4 earrings in the face. You know,
this is true, actually. Young men, listen up, actually. Cheetah print.
You know, and
if she does the tongue out smile in the pictures, if she's, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
if he,
that's a giveaway. As they say, she's for the streets. You know, so
if she's got, you know, if she got the cheetah print, the Vans and the hot Cheetos, move on, bro. And then you're in SoCal. You know, that's how it is.
I'm just hoping, Nick,
if she doesn't know the Powerpuff Girls, she's too young for you, bro. But anyways, you were saying, Rick. Last thing we gotta. Before we move the wheels.
I'm just saying. Thanks for taking my call. But I got to say too, I just encourage people to, since you got all this, the media putting out untrue stuff, and then you got the truth going, then you got the untruth going. I just tell everybody, sit back and look. Look what the Democrats stands for. You see they didn't stand up for immigration and stuff yesterday, so you know what this party is about, man. But yet people still go out and vote for them.
A mess.
They still go out and vote for them, man. And I'm just saying, look what's going on, man. I mean, that's all I got to say, man. And one last thing, Nick, before you let me go. Tariffs. How you feel about tariffs, my man?
Let's do it.
Me too. I'm for it too because I understand what he's trying to do. If other countries got tariffs on our goods, but yet I haven't heard no Democrat try to negotiate anything but other countries have tariffs on our goods. They haven't mentioned a word about that. So I guess they telling us we're grabbing the ankles. Everybody's getting rich off America, man. Everybody can put taxes on us, and we don't say nothing. That's part of protecting America's interests. That's why I like the tariffs, man. I understand what Trump is trying to do with the tariffs is force them to drop their tariffs. But the Democrats, they worried about people being able to afford an iPhone, and that's what's keeping a lot of people broke. People buying these expensive cell phones when they don't even need one.
Yeah, let's make some money. This is BS. Let's make money. We're supposed, like, if we're gonna have immigrants, we're gonna have all this crap. It's like we're supposed to have money at least. We're supposed to have money. Let's have some money. Like, this is supposed to be. We're supposed to have like cheap stuff, awesome malls. Like let's have this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, let's make some freaking money. I'm down. Rick, I appreciate your call. Call me again.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Love you, Nick, man. Keep putting the truth out there, man. Love you, brother.
All right. 888-775-3773. You know, I brought the cartels too because, like, what's going on with Nancy? Who's on Nancy watch? No, I'm not really on Nancy Guthrie, the newest updates. It does get your attention, though. And you're like, wait, actually, there's new details on that? Because, you know, there's, you know, an American citizen, you know, an American lady got, so you're telling me she got kidnapped and they're like, they got this whole, like, Gotham City, like, comic book style, like, ransom, or not comic books. How about, I'll give you a real, how about something far closer to home? Maybe the comic books are referencing this. Cartel kidnappings and ransoms. You know what I'm saying? Savannah Guthrie, an unincorporated Catalina, what do they call it? The Catalina foothills. The Catalina foothills of Arizona. Unincorporated region in Arizona. Not too far from the border. I mean, it's Arizona. You know what I'm saying? So, is it a fairy? Is comic? Do we need to go to the comic books for examples, or just, you know, some miles south, and you start getting to Mexico? Nogales. We're going to Nogales down there in Jalisco. But Savannah Guthrie offers $1 million reward for her mother's return. Yeah, I mean, I can't be the first one saying that, right? I was just thinking that today, though. I definitely can't be the first one, right? I saw unincorporated food. I'm like, wait. Like, I'm sure I heard the conspiracy. I heard the other theories, right? Like, it's family members, right? People with the know-how. But these people have cleaners. These people have housekeeping with intimate details of the home. You know, there's a thief simulator, by the way. We should play Thief Simulator. That was so funny. You literally stalk houses. It's like so visceral, and like it's like not even a joke. It's like how to actually stalk houses and steal. It's insane. In a video game. But look, whatever. They're just, it could be cartel. It could be some organized crime BS, you know? Ain't that some ish? But you know what else is some ish? I have these two related stories. You know what? I'll pull them up in a sec. Because we got to get to, and I appreciate you holding. Mark out of Los Angeles. How you doing, sir? You're on the air.
Well, how are you, Nick? I'm fine.
Well, Mark. Yes, I'm fine. And yourself?
Yeah, just a loud car going by. Wanted to tell you, first of all, if I could, I'd like to give a shout out to Rick of Hampton, Virginia. He's a good guy. Artie Art's good. And finally to CSAL. I just wanted to pass on to CSAL. I put out all the details on because she wrote a little comment about I need to give more details on black on white crime. I only put out what I can find. They don't, in the reports that I read, it doesn't always give names. It usually does give cities, but I may have failed to mention in my last report on the war on whites where a Negro had murdered a white girl at Starbucks. It didn't say what city. It didn't say what state. So, Cecil, I will make an effort to put more details into my report. But the reason I called, Nick, is I tried to call Hake today, couldn't get through. I had to leave. I waited for a while. He didn't keep me on that long, but I just couldn't wait. So what I wanted to say was to answer Popcorn in regards to the Viola Luiso murder of 1965. The point I want to make, because he keeps wanting proof. He wants evidence
of a murder.
Yeah, he wants evidence that what's her name, Luisa was a communist. So I'll give my source.
Can you help me out here a little bit, Luisa? And what's the context here? I'm totally unfamiliar with this.
Viola Luisa was a communist traitor, self-hating white woman who went down to Selma to march with Martin Luther King in 1965. On her way back, she was with a male Negro in her car, and somebody shot her in the head and killed her. There were 4 men in the car who were alleged Klansmen. 3 of them were. One was an informant by the name of Gary Thomas Rowe. He was the gunman. He was the one that killed Viola Luiso, but the 3 Klansmen who were in the car were sent to prison for 10 years for violating her civil rights. But I got to give you a little backup. They went to state court first, and the state court found the 3 Klansmen not guilty. Okay? They testified that the FBI undercover guy pulled the trigger. Okay, so that case, they were found not guilty, and then they were retried unconstitutionally on a civil rights violation. And the civil rights law had only passed a year previous. So that they were the first victims, the Klansmen were, of the Civil Rights Bill of 64. They were tried for taking Viola Luisa's civil rights away. And they were convicted in federal court. And the gunman, the FBI informant, was the one who testified against the 3 Klansmen. He walked free. They went to prison on a second charge. They were retried unconstitutionally, and they went to prison for 10 years. Gary Thomas Rowe walked. That's the story of the Viola Luisa case, in case that guy's Popcorn's listening. You know, he wants evidence. He's always talking about he wants evidence. How am I going to get evidence on a 60-year-old murder? I do know that none of the Klansmen were convicted of murder. They were convicted of a civil rights violation, and it was the same case, same evidence, same witnesses. It's called double jeopardy. The Civil Rights Bill violates that rule in the Constitution. It does a lot of other violating as well. But again, they were the first to be charged in America with a civil rights violation and for a murder that they didn't commit. So if Popcorn's listening, maybe he could wise up and figure out what really happened there, because he's anti-white too. So that's what I wanted to say. I was going to say that on the Hake Report.
That's interesting info. I didn't know that. I welcome the history a bit. If
never
all
heard
true.
of Viola Luisa?
No, I literally never heard that name.
It was because of her murder that they passed the Voting Rights Act, which was unconstitutional. The Voting Rights Act passed in 1965, and it was to be renewed every 10 years. Well, believe it or not, even Ronald Reagan renewed it in 1985. So Reagan wasn't the great conservative that we thought he was. He also gave amnesty to illegal aliens. Reagan did. He gave them 3 million of them amnesty, and he signed Martin Luther King Day into a federal holiday. He signed the Brady Bill too. So Reagan was no hero to the conservatives. He wasn't that bad, but he really didn't put anybody impressive on the Supreme Court. But my point, getting back to the subject, it took till 2025. It could have been 2024 or 25, not sure on the year. The Supreme Court ruled that the Voting Rights Act was unconstitutional. So it was unconstitutional from its inception, and it was passed because of a murder that wasn't committed by the Klan, but was blamed on the Klan. They were called back then, Nick, agent provocateurs. And to give you an example of a modern day agent provocateur, set up by the FBI. You have January 6th. They were FBI people who went into the crowd, stirred up the crowd, and then none of them were arrested. Like Gary Thomas Rowe, he got away with murder. And these J6ers, the government agents who started the trouble, they all walked, and innocent patriots went to prison or went to jail, and then Trump released them. My point is, agent provocateurs. Back in the 60s, it was called COINTELPRO, where they would, they would investigate illegally and unconstitutionally far right and far left groups. But here's the difference: they went after the Klan, they went after the Nazis, but they didn't go after the Communist Party USA. They did go after the Black Panthers and the SBS. They went after the extreme left, but they left the Communist Party alone. Communist Party.
Really? So when they were doing all
simple.
that, because that's the controversy, right? COINTELPRO is like big, government scandal that they're looking into of American citizens, right? Like, right. That's essentially correct, right?
That was under J.
investigating them, and they left out the communists. Really, I didn't know that.
Say it again.
They left out the Communist Party of the.
Yeah, they didn't investigate the Communist Party USA. And I have a reason for believing. I think I know the reason, because that group, Communist Party USA, it's been around for a long time, and they are so infiltrated with government informants. They really didn't need to be a victim, if you want to call them a victim, of COINTELPRO. But they did go after the Klan. From what I understand, they even went after the White Citizens Council, and they were nonviolent. The White Citizens Council, if you don't know, were white businessmen, and they had Jews in the group. There were Jews in the White Citizens Council, but primarily they were a businessman's group who wanted to maintain segregation, because they look at restaurants, hotels, cruise ships, and everything else today who can't deny blacks entry. They turn into ghettos, and the White Citizens Council knew this was inevitable, and they fought to maintain segregation. So, but they were investigated as well under COINTELPRO, with the Klan and a group called the NSRP, the National States Rights Party.
Now, why is that? Thoughts on, like, quickly, like, why did they go in? Why was it that, because ostensibly, right, on the surface, they're investigating them because you have increasing anti-state forces. I mean, I don't know, you're following my language, I'm sure. The state has enemies, so to speak, have forces that are growing, that are destabilizing to the state, okay? And so that ostensibly on the surface, they're investigating them for these reasons. Is it not that? Why did they do it? The real reason, help me understand.
Well, in my opinion, the reason they went after the Klan and the white racial separatist groups was because they hate white people and they're for race mixing. I'm talking about the government now. You have to remember, in the original, what do they call that? The founding of the FBI, their mission statement openly says that they wanted to destroy the Klan. They make that. This was in the 1920s or 30s. I'm not sure what decade, when J. Edgar Hoover was installed as the first director. They had a mission statement, and in that statement, they openly say they were to take the Klan away, to take the Klan out.
The FBI.
So that was unconstitutional to begin with. And
you're saying, wait, can you back it up just a moment? You're saying,
sure. You're
talking about the FBI?
Yes.
You're talking about the inception of the FBI, its creation and its founding. Its founding philosophy partly it was to counteract and go against the KKK.
Right, because at that time the Klan was a powerful organization in America.
Really?
Talking about the 20s and 30s. That's when they were in their heyday. And the Klan, the FBI came into existence when the FBI came into existence when the Klan was in their heyday. And one of the things that
is interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah,
because on the surface you learned, if you maybe were taught this and I wasn't, you'd say, well, yeah, you had to get rid of the racist KKK. But now on this end of it all, and now I know racism doesn't exist, and I don't have to, I don't know everything the KKK did and whatever. If they were violent and wrong, they were wrong. But it sounds like at some point they were simply a group that defended white people. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But what's up with so who created the FBI?
I don't know, the U.S. government and they installed J. Edgar Hoover as their first director. And he stayed director for like 30 or 40 years. And he was anti-Klan. I mean, he was on a personal mission to take the Klan out, and he bragged about it. Yeah, he was no good. J. Edgar Hoover may have been a Negro himself. If you look at early pictures...
Wait, what are you saying now? You're saying J. Edgar Hoover may have been black?
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that positively. I can't prove it. I know guys like Popcorn.
Wait, I have seen this guy before. I think I've heard somebody say this before. And then I think initially I was incredulous, but then I looked at a picture of him.
If you look at his young picture when he was a young man, he does look a little dark. They say that half-breeds and mulattoes, as they age,
hey, yo, yeah,
the whiteness comes out. What?
I'm saying hey, yo, to some of these pictures that, I don't know.
I
it's
can't
funny.
See what you're
maybe you're in my head a bit, but, like you primed me maybe, but, well, he doesn't look he doesn't look totally white in some of these pictures. I don't know what to say. Not that I believe this, but
you know,
saying.
in his defense, he did investigate Martin Luther King, and he had some unkind words for King. Unfortunately, they won't release the files. Like Epstein, they won't release the files on King to show the world that he was an evil man. Now, Chad O. Jackson is
the files are out there.
Pardon?
I have I'm not saying this because I have an opinion on the releasing of whatever files you're talking about. So be it, release and whatever. But in my opinion, it's already out there. The files are out there, bro.
Not on King.
Yeah, he's on. We have him on camera saying, "Blacks, you still have a reason to be mad at white people." That's the linchpin for me. That's the the end all be all. That's the smoking gun. That's the.
No, but
I get it. Your point is about like taking down the civil rights, the enduring civil rights institution, and this might be part of its undoing. But I got you, man.
Okay, let's look at it this way. When they did January 6th, what followed? They impeached Trump. They took him to trial, and everything went Trump's way because he's an intelligent man. He's got a lot of money. He had a lot of public support, and he was able to fight through what the FBI set up to take him down. Okay, in the Klan's case, right after Viola Luisa was killed, they passed the Voting Rights Act. So there's a connection to the COINTEL program and its anti-white message and activities to put through the Voting Rights Act. The Voting Rights Act was passed in response to the Viola Luisa murder. Okay, and we know now that the Klan didn't do it. The same as in the January 6th thing. We know now, I knew it all along, but we knew that Trump did not instigate that dust-up. But yet he got impeached. He wasn't convicted. And then he had to go to court for the next 3 or 4 years. But then he rebounded, thank God, because he's got God on his side. And he rebounded and he became president. This is how the deep state works. J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI and COINTEL program. And the COINTEL program.
I'm familiar with the technique that's fed jacketing or bad jacketing.
They were the deep state. The deep state didn't just come about when Trump came around. The deep state's been around at least since the 60s. It was the deep state that took out Richard Nixon. It was the deep state that took out the Klan. The Klan doesn't even exist anymore. I mean, there may be a few of them around, but as a group, it doesn't exist anymore. And if the FBI wants to claim victory, they had to use dirty tactics and go against the majority of the white people to do it. There was I'll end with this, Nick. If you get a chance, there's a documentary. It's called
Send it to me. Send it to me via email.
If I could find it, I will.
Even the title, send it to me via email.
Yeah.
And I'd love to check it out myself. Don't name it. Them's the rules, Mark.
I won't name it.
Appreciate it.
Sure, but in the documentary, it shows how the FBI worked with the mafia to take the Klan down in Alabama. I won't get into it. You have to watch it. They
Send
use
that
dirty tricks. Yeah, well,
big time.
I'll try.
Radio@JesseLeePeterson.com. But yeah.
Yeah.
I welcome it. It's interesting info, man. I definitely wasn't familiar with some. And
No, but what I'm getting at is the FBI and the federal government were at war with the Klan for the last 100 years. And, because the Klan's a poor organization, most of their members are poor. They don't have the public support as Trump does. So they lost. It wasn't because they were wrong. It wasn't because they were criminals, although a few of them might have been, and they went to jail. The same with J6. There may have been a few people that were criminals that weren't government informants and COINTEL program deep staters, but their message was, let's save the white race. And that message is not accepted by our government or the FBI. And that's why
and I'm gathering, if this is all true, they worked hard to stamp down such a message. And on my end, as a person educated in these schools, whatever, growing up, from my end, that was never even in my concept. It was never even that was not even in any concept of learning about this. And what I'm getting at is that they were defending white people. That was never even they were just simply racist haters. They were just simply criminals or cross burners and lynchers and stuff. That's how I learned, right? But that was never any concept of what you're saying there, and it sounds like they worked hard. The government worked hard to not to stamp down that message, that mere call.
Don't you see the parallel between their attacks on the Klan? I'm talking about the FBI and the deep state. Can you see the parallels between their attack on the Klan and their attack against Trump? They consider Trump to be a white supremacist. And, of course, the Klan's openly white supremacist, which they feel, I'm talking about
sounds like the same playbook. Yeah, it sounds like from what you're describing to me, it sounds like the same playbook. It sounds like, in fact, that's why people today constantly decry it and are like, what? Are you really calling Trump the KKK? Are you really calling him a Nazi? Are you really calling him racist? Are you really this guy? And then they'll bend over backwards trying to say, you're the real racist. Kind of cringy sometimes, but I see now they're doing that because it's the same playbook. It's the exact same playbook.
Christopher Wray, who headed the FBI when they raided Mar-a-Lago and the J6 thing happened, he's an evil man. He's the worst of the deep state. He actually formed a government front group called the Patriotic Front. They were masked white men who were alleged white supremacists, but really it was a honeypot scheme to get other white supremacists who were sincere to join the group, and then he would have their names on a list. The group disbanded the day Christopher Wray resigned. It was a front they want to rub us out any way they can. If they go after the white supremacists first, the other whites will fall in line, and they'll go after them, or they'll become race-mixing liberals against their will. They want to break our will. They want to destroy us. First, they go for the Nazis, then they go for the Klan, then they go for the average white citizen. And that's what's happening today. And I'll
Mark,
leave you with
appreciate call. Last thing,
go
ahead.
One last thing? This is it, and I'll get off. When in the Eichmann trial, back in the early 60s, Adolf Eichmann, I don't know if you know who that is, but
no.
He was a German leader that was on trial. And one thing that he said before he was convicted, he said, first they come for us, then they're coming for you people, meaning the white people. And those were prophetic words, because that's exactly what's happening today. Anybody's a racist who doesn't agree with their rotten agenda to make us a minority. And that's all I have for you.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Appreciate your call. Call me again.
God bless. Thank you. Bye.
888-775-3773. Hey, look, I'm just Googling. He's talking. He's saying Adolf Eichmann. I'm Googling. It's Wikipedia. First lines of convicted of one of the major organizers of the final solution to the Jewish question. Look, maybe this is propaganda and lies, but just thought I'd. Hey, look, it's called the views and opinions of the callers and guests don't necessarily mean anything. But they lie about a lot of this stuff. They lie about a lot of this stuff, but also a lot of people, upon being lied to a bunch of this stuff, then go too far the other way, and it's like, yo, some of this stuff is actually true, and you don't support that, do you? But anyways, this final. Anyways, so what else? I'm looking at chat. You guys are funny. All right, folks, in the last bit here. Look at that. Look at how the time flew. Thanks for your support. Appreciate your calls and all that. People would never lie on the internet. Let's get to, let's see here. Let's keep it moving here. How about that? How about we keep it moving in the last bit here? We got Punchy coming up. So be get ready for that. Punchy on YouTube. Punchy TV. Punchy.tv. Live with the experts. What are y'all saying here? Some of you are not happy about this old stuff. It's just history. Just let's rehash history indignantly. Of course, sir. If you'd like to call, it's up to you. Thoughts on the State of the Union, my Canadian brother. The lines are open if you want to speak on it, my neighbor. But what did I have for you next? What do we have time for? What do we have time for? Look at all this stuff. I mean, look, there was this look, we're talking about the KKK, right? It's actually thematic. I was like, this is thematic. This is quite thematic. This is quite thematic. You want to talk about enduring? You want to talk about, you want to get mad at the KKK? Like, oh, they just were making things up, right? Like there wasn't any racial issues at all, like differences and issues between each other, that all this civil rights talk and talk of racism wasn't going to end up bad, They were just making that up, huh? All that stuff, a big chip on their shoulder, a whole populace in the country, enduring populace, able to vote, chip on their shoulder, and a back-to-back for decades and hundreds of years now of bending over backwards to say, you are justified in your anger. You're still now. Oh my gosh, you're right. That did happen. Right, an almost unique justification of anger. What a crazy thing to justify. You are right to be angry. Who can you say that about? Other than like minorities, blacks, victims. Who can you say that about? You are justified in your anger. I guess you could say that about any injustice, actually, now that I think about it. That is how the general populace is, very asleep about the evils of anger. If taxes are wrong, you'll be like, yeah, I should be angry. Not realizing there's no reason. No justification. But okay, look, you got judges. You're like, Nick, you told me juries don't work with all these different races. Yeah, judges don't work. Here's the story of Tavari Pearson. Let me pull it up here. The story of 15-year-old Tavari Pearson, who attacked his therapist at a Las Vegas youth camp by striking her with a rock, strangling her, attempting sexual assault, abandoning her in a ditch, bleeding. Judge Erica Bayou sentenced him to just a little 6 months in jail. Prosecutors were seeking up to 20 years. But, what's a little 6 months? You see her right there, by the way. You see the pin on her is that lapel? That says Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter pin, Judge. Look, just imagine for a moment. Some case at all, any case at all. And please rise for the Honorable Judge Erica Bayou. And she walks in with a Black Lives Matter pin. You know it's over, right? Unless you're a black violent criminal. Then you should be saying, today's my lucky day. Because today I get a new lease on life. Because mama is going to give you 6 months for that. Or maybe you're Peterson, by the way, who's now 18, has won a $20.5 million civil judgment from the victim for the assault. Grog, you got to explain that one to me. Because this guy went to like you heard, a Las Vegas youth camp, and he had some counselor who he attacked with a rock, tried to strangle, punched her repeatedly, struck her in the head. DNA evidence confirms sexual assault. That's what this says. Pushed her into a ravine. The victim survived. Pearson was charged as an adult with serious felonies. He entered a plea deal. Got sentenced to 6 months in jail. With 2.5 years already served in pretrial detention, leading to immediate or near immediate release. The victim see, that's what I was misunderstanding. It was the victim who won a $20.5 million judgment. This person sued Pearson civilly for punitive damages after he failed to appear or defend. And her attorney noted she may never collect most or all of it due to his lack of assets. So, yeah, she won that $20.5 million judgment, but it's just a number on a paper. He doesn't have money. And that's how that goes. But look, Black Lives Matter, Mama Judge. What about maybe you're what's this guy's name? Hold on. Maybe you're Moniz Rabino, and you kill, allegedly by accident, a 17-month-old boy. Your girlfriend, you have a girlfriend. You know, she's a single mom. That's not your baby. You're the boyfriend. And, right, you maybe get mad. I don't know. It's hard to say. This is all stuff I don't know about. I'm not the cop, and I'm not making any allegations. But according to him, an accident happens, and this 17-month-old falls. Medical examinations say otherwise. No way accidental trauma could have caused this. But, you know, this 17-month-old does die in the hospital later. Prosecutors later, and here it is, hold on, an autopsy showed prior abusive injuries. Rabino was initially indicted on first-degree murder and child abuse charges, which could have led to a life sentence. Prosecutors later noted significant evidentiary challenges, primarily stemming from inconsistent statements by Kai's mother, the key witness. She provided 2 initial accounts claiming nothing happened. Ooh, there's your problem. But changed her story in a third statement after being treated as a suspect herself. With no other eyewitnesses and reliance on potentially unreliable caregiver testimony, the prosecution worried about proving the case beyond a reasonable doubt. This situation is a classic example of how plea bargains work in the U.S. criminal justice system, particularly in cases like child abuse, where evidence can be circumstantial And you got the big glaring problem of the mama, standing with her initial selfishness. She got with this guy initially. She's like, who knows what compelled her to, who knows what happened in her life, right? Where she ended up with a child. Who knows what she did, right? And now she's with this guy, with this specimen. Banged out head to toe. Tattoos banged out head to toe. And with anger issues, possible alleged anger issues. and you think, wow, I'm going to stand by this selfish decision. I'm going to defend him. Look, this is the boy. Oh, yeah, there's a whole clip here. There's a whole freaking clip here. Here. Here you go. Here's Rubino. And I guess the crazy part about this one is it's not like an activist judge. It's just a mom. It's just a mom. How do we play this? It's going here. No volume? Maybe this has no volume. This may be a clip devoid of volume. Which sucks because if it is full of volume, that means the volume stopped working. Studio 8. Something is wrong. Houston, we have a problem. The mainframe has gone down. Well, anyways, we got to go anyways. Yeah, the audio did go down. Well, we'll fix that for Punchy. But, yeah, probation and anger management classes is what this guy got. A judge may, allegedly, he won't see a day in prison, but, folks, what can I say? That's the show. I can't get to everybody. Appreciate it. Callers on hold. Call me tomorrow. We got more American Anchor Baby. That will be after Bible Thumper Thursday, the Hake Report. And then, of course, more American Anchor Baby. Yeah, I got it unmuted. I'm pretty sure. Over here, and over there. All right, folks. Thanks for the support. We did it all, the topics, the calls, and the super chats. See ya, Punchy and American Anchor Baby tomorrow. Thank you, Moses, for the earlier super chat there. And Walking Roscoe, have a great show, Nick. Love y'all. You think it was a button over there?
I don't know. Maybe a button there?
No, I got it all unmuted. No. I got it all unmuted.
Okay.
Oh, it was the button no, because I pressed it to fix it for you, so it should stay fixed. Okay. That's something else, and I got to end the show anyway. So, folks, take care. See you at Punchy TV. Take care for now. Bye-bye. Peace. Oh, little Nick, too, he's got to say bye. Bye.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.